Today we're starting to look at defensive design in Python programming. And the first of these topics is anticipating misuse. When you anticipate misuse of a Python program, it's because people make mistakes, they type the wrong thing. It might be that they try and break a program because people do that. So this is getting ahead of the game. It's about making your Python programs a little better so that you anticipate those mistakes that can happen. So some example of misuse or people breaking the code on purpose include leaving inputs blank. So when it asks the user to type something in and they don't type anything and just press enter, maybe they're being a little bit too hasty. That's something that could go wrong. And we want to be able to predict that that could happen and prepare for it with our Python program. It might be that you've used int, you've used typecasting, you were expecting the user to enter a number, a whole number, but instead they accidentally put in a word because they've misunderstood what it is that they needed to type in. And it might be it says put something between 1 to 3 and they accidentally press 4 and as a result it wasn't what you were expecting them to type. But in this case we're going to expect them to type the wrong thing, and I've got a couple of examples in Python so you can see the kind of things that we can do to prevent these. So in this first example, it's just a really simple one. We're going to ask the user to enter their name. And on line 3, you can see that we say, if the name is equal to blank, which is just used by 2 speech marks with nothing inside, so an empty string, it will display a message to them saying, you must enter a name. Otherwise, it's going to say hello and then the name that they've entered. So if we just run this code now, I'm just going to press enter without typing anything in. And you can see the result we get, it says you must enter a name. Much better than a big error that's popping up. It's a better designed program. If we run the code one more time, but this time I'm going to type in Chris and press enter, it says hello Chris. So it's working great. It doesn't matter what we type. As long as we type something, it's going to accept it. But if not, it will tell them you must enter a name. So we've anticipated one thing, that they might put a blank by accident. In our next example, we're going to think about if they accidentally put something out of the range that we were expecting. And in this case, we're going to limit them to only picking one of 3 options. So in line 1, we're getting them to enter an input. It says enter a menu option between 1 and 3. So this is already better because the string that we are displaying to them is telling them exactly what we're expecting. It should be between 1 to 3. So just by wording your program better, it's helping. On line 3, this is a common mistake that people make, so we're just going to talk about it. It says if the choice is not equal to 1, and then you've got to write choice again. People forget to write this variable here. If you forget that, you will lose a mark in your exam. So it's really important that you remember that one. So if the choice is not equal to 1, and the choice is not equal to 2, and the choice is not equal to 3, it will say it's an invalid option, which means it can only be one of those 3 options. Otherwise, it's going to say option accepted. Let's run it and see it's working. Enter a menu option. I'm going to go for 4. Invalid option. Run it again. If I choose 2, option accepted. So we forced the user into only being able to choose one of those 3 options. So that's it for anticipating misuse. I'll see you next time.